about the age we live in today versus say 10 years ago is just social media and using social media as a way to like amplify your message and your brand. This is actually something that came up at dinner last night, is how much in the early stages when you're building a product, like should you focus in on kind of like building the product and going one by one to get users, all of the kind of like traditional startup advice, versus trying to cultivate sort of like a following or a brand or attention like online. And like, 10 years ago,
spend thousands of dollars on a video.
yeah, just like spend like
launch.
high production launch videos and like lots of followers on Twitter or X. And certainly I think it's more confusing now because that wasn't even an option before. And you definitely see people succeeding at getting the online like attention and people talking about like the company.
What do they call it? Aura farming?
Is that a thing? Yeah, I get lost. Okay, maybe that's the phrase. Yeah, it is like aura farming, I guess.
Yeah, I'm curious what you think, Gary.
All I care about is like what's real and what you can, touch and see and feel. And, think about the area under the curve of utility that you could contribute to society. And you can always just look at that as ground truth. And everything else is simulacrum. It is not real. It is like media. It is fake. It is a credential. It is a thing that represents something. And yet, like, if you look deeper into it, it's nothing. Like, there's nothing. When you think about SBF, when you think about Theranos, when you think about the things that truly disgrace us as people who create technology, when you peel back a little bit, you realize there's nothing. This was just simulacrum. It was a fucking lie. I don't want that for us. Like, people outside of this room, the world at large looks at tech and they hate us sometimes because those are the people who represent us. And I say, not for me. They don't represent us.
So I think that's a no on social media.
I mean, I think social media is really great. I mean, I'm clearly extremely addicted to it, and it's done some really great things for me, some terrible things too. But I think that you do have to tell your story. Like, I think one of the more important things that is the gift is that you can tell your own story. Like, in fact, that you have to. Like, the second you rely on someone else to tell your story, it's going to be great, great, great. And then when you don't have that voice, like, someone's going to take that. The world wants to, the only thing it loves more than like, a story of becoming is one of unbecoming. And if you don't have that voice and you can't go direct, they're going to do that to you. And so better to start, right? Like, I think working backwards, the thing that was most helpful for me, obviously for my startup, but we try to encourage all of our startups to do this, is you can sort of work backwards from the outcome that you want. Like, I actually think Apple does this really, really well. Like, they don't commit to doing a feature until they have, a product manager who says, this is who it's for, and this is the problem it's going to solve, right? And you can actually turn that into going direct. So, let's say you have a 1 week or 2 week sprint. It's all too easy to just say, look, like, here's my bug list and here's my backlog, and I'm going to fix these 10 bugs. But a much more powerful version of this is, let's work backwards from what I want to put on X. I'm going to make a very simple Loom video showing off a feat of strength, a thing that I really want to share, that I know our team can do. And then working backwards from that, the next 2 weeks, that's all we're going to do. Like, you could storyboard it. It's like, it's going to do this, right? You can work, like, basically at that point, media and PM and design can be all the same thing. It's connected to users, it's connected to communication, it's connected to what your product will do for people. And then you build it, and you can just basically rinse and repeat like that. If you can do 2 week sprints of working backwards from a really powerful, not flashy, Loom video of what you did in the last 2 weeks, you can do this all for each other, and we can create a culture that is not about flash, but about substance. Yeah. We got a question over here.
I'm a big fan of Gary and Jared. So Jared actually inspired me
Brutal.
for my startup. But I just want to